Pedro from A&P-Reacts. I'm here today with Herman Frank from Victory to talk about Gods of Tomorrow out on AFM Records. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm pretty well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Are you excited to finally see this album come out and fans be able to listen to it?
Pardon me? I had to raise the volume.
I was saying, are you excited about the album finally coming out and fans being able to enjoy it?
It will be released tomorrow, and I was waiting for a couple of months. I'm very excited. I can't wait what people will say.
Now, it's been 10 years since Don't Talk Science, so what can fans expect from this record?
I guess it's a fresh, new, powerful, melodic, some would say slightly metal. I would call it heavy rock album. And it's in the same vibes as the most successful albums from Victory, Culture Kid the Native, and the Temples of Gold. It just follows the rules.
Yeah, it just continues down that path.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I put so much energy and so much everything into it. And I guess, yeah, it worked out really well. And as so far, people do like it when they got a chance to listen for it.
Was it challenging for you to find the right musicians to surround yourself with that have the same vision that you have for Victory?
That's the most difficult part in every band to form a band. I mean, I was asking the older members, for example, Peter Knorr or Tommy Newton, but they're over 60, way over 60 now, and maybe the heart of rock and roll is not beating that strong as my heart is still beating. So they didn't want to join the reunion. I was looking for a couple of musicians, and the most lucky day was that when I found Johnny I would call by accident. I walked in a show I did with my solo band Herman Frank in the south of Germany, and I walked into the venue and heard this guy singing in there in his own band called The Order, and I said to myself, "Wow, that's the guy I was waiting for years." And he was good looking, in best age, and he was acting like a rock star on stage already, and he sang his ass off, you know. And right after he finished his set, I started talking to him about the ideas to make a reunion of Victory, and he said he's very proud of it, that I was asking, and I sent him a couple of demos of the backing tracks of the older classic like Temples of Gold or Don't Turn Alive. He sent me back 2 days later, and I closed my eyes and said, "Wow, it sounds like Fernando, Charlie Yoon, and everybody combined in one person." So it was obvious that I was told this guy, "Hey, let's do it," and it's worth to come up with a new album with a voice like this.
Yeah, incredible vocals, incredible pipes. When you're looking for these musicians outside of the skill set that you need from them, in this case the vocals, is there something that you find that it's really important in order for you guys to be able to gel and get the record to where you need it?
Yeah, I guess they should be able to take the same pace as I do, for sure. And I mean, there's no question about their talent or something, you know. That's the most that's what you're not looking for. You expect it in some way. And I mean, I wanted to form a band that's called, in a way, that's called really deserves to be called a band. And so these guys, I really do like them. We became just friends, you know. And they are really into it. They're doing everything, and they try to do it as strong as they can. They put some energy in this new thing, and a lot of ideas. So I'm quite satisfied with them.
Did you approach this record any differently from any previous Victory records, or you still kept the same format in place as far as the creative process?
Actually, I tried to produce it in the same way, like the Culture and the Temples, because for me that had been the most successful and most likely records. And so I took by obvious, the Horror Sound studio in Hanover, because Victory already recorded their 2 albums, there had been Halloween and Scorpions in the beginning. So, and it's close next to my home. I know this guy who's engineering and was actually a little bit kind of co-producing on Neuron. And so I wanted to have, I mean, we had to come up with this album during COVID times. So it was really difficult. It was a lot of sending back forward files and Zoom meetings and WhatsApp video and whatever. I prepared the songs in my studio with all the guitars and drum computers and bass lines and send it out the files. But then I said to myself, if we want to come up with a fresh, real rock and roll kind of like album, we have to meet in the studio. So we got tested. I flew the guys into Hanover. They entered the studio and I locked the door.
And you threw away the key. And you threw away
quite honestly, and I don't tell you any bullshit. I just locked the door and said, okay, now we got 16 days. Let's try to give our best. And a friend of us, he showed up every day. We wrote him a letter or a message or an email, what kind of food we want to have next day, what kind of beer, whatever. So he put it down in front of the studio door and we picked it up. So, and the flats had been upstairs in the studio, so nobody left for 16 days, the studio. Wow. And that was the reason why we worked from 9 o'clock till midnight, you know, and it worked out really good because during recording, you're in the same room or in the control room and you're face to face and you can react in the same second and tell the singer, oh, let's try a little bit different or go for the bridge again and stuff like that, you know. Or if the drummer records, why don't we try another roll or another beat or whatever, you know. That's the way I wanted to record this album, and that's a way how in the past albums had been recorded, and I think you can hear the difference.
I was just going to say the album sounds so fresh from the beginning to the end. It feels natural, it's fresh, it's organic, it never gets boring, it always has energy, it always finds a way to find energy somewhere else and bring that energy to the forefront. So is that because of the way you took this recording process, throwing away the key and keeping everybody locked down?
Maybe for sure that was one reason, but on the other hand, I really pushed them really hard, you know. Maybe they didn't like me one day or the other. I mean, I expected everything, you know, and I never gave up to, what's the word for it? To force them to give it a little bit more. And also, I prepared the songs quite finalized to the studio and brought them my files. But we changed a couple of things in the studio because of everybody got new ideas in a second, and as we had been in the same room and all together, we got a chance to change these things very quickly.
Do you try to bring a little bit into this record? Did you try to bring a little bit of the past, the things that worked for you before, but at the same time, keeping in mind that you want to make a record that doesn't sound like a record that came out 10 years ago? You wanted to make sure that the record sounds modern. Those two worlds come into your mind when you're putting the record together?
There's always a split in your mind you have, you know, but the secret is find a solution for it, and it has to be a solution in the end. I really tried to came up to record in the same vibe, in the same style, but on the other hand, I mean, with this techniques today, it will sound much more modern. That the recording techniques had changed. And so you have a different sound on the guitars, maybe a little bit modern sound on the drums. And as I said, the most thing I was looking for, that a lot of people, if they record an album, they say, oh, we want to sound like we are sounding live. Yeah, then don't edit that much. Just play right.
Just play.
Yeah, just play like you're on a stage. And so I really forced them to play like you're doing right now. You're doing a live show or something, and doesn't matter if you take a wrong chord or something, or it's a little bit out of tune, we can fix this later on. But we, first of all, we have to try to catch the energy and the freshness and the excitement.
Yeah, and I think you guys did. And another thing about this record that I really love is that it sounds great. It doesn't depend just on the guitars. When I look at this album, obviously the guitars play a huge role in the sound, but it's not like the album is just guitars. Overall, everything, drums, bass, vocals, everything sounds phenomenal. Did that come down to the mixing? How do you get an album that sounds that strong across all the different elements?
I guess first you have to have a vision how the whole product will show up in the end. And music or song is not all about guitars. Guitars is just a little bit on the left side, on the right side actually. And the main thing is for me, for good song, is drum and bass, because they give the groove, they give the ground. And then the most important thing is to have the vocals as best as you can. And you have to leave space for the vocals. And so you have to come up with harmonies. You can follow they help the vocals to sound good. And guitars, yeah, I'm a known guitar player and I do like guitar playing and stuff like that. But you have to bring yourself back in this kind of music. You always have to bring yourself a little bit back. It's not a solo record, you know. And it's not a drum record, it's not a bass record. You have to have the picture in your mind, what's the best for the whole song. Just the song is important.
It's not a solo record, but your guitar solos on this album are phenomenal. I mean, really, like they jump out on every single track. Do you have a little bit of I don't know, a black box where you keep some solos for future tracks, or everything is organic for the song that you're putting together?
It's organic for the song, and most of them I use. I'm 90%. I use the demo guitars.
Wow!
Because when I come up with a song, you're totally excited to come up with a new song. You have a new riff, and then you put a new verse and the chorus. Oh, I got a nice hook for the vocals in the track. So I always record for the singer my vocals first. So he knows in which direction the song should be or what I got in mind. And the same I do with the leads. So I just fiddle around and going back and forward. And in 90%, I leave just leave the demo, also the demo guitars and the demo solos on it. Sometimes, I mean, you for sure you come back and say, oh, maybe I do this again. But mostly it didn't work. It doesn't work out that good. Because it doesn't have the same feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same spontaneity.
Yep.
It just doesn't feel natural. When you look at this album and you look at the 10 years from the previous record to this record, and you see the feedback that you're getting from fans, from everybody who's listened to this album, are you going to make us wait for another 10 years until we get to the next record, or there's going to be something a lot sooner?
Definitely not. It took me 10 years to find this singer. And it took me a couple of years to find all the other musicians. And with Mike Pessin, the second guitar player, I got a real buddy on my side. And so I guess we are ready to do. Right now, we would love to record the next album. And I already got a couple of ideas in my mind, but keep it time-wise. We will start maybe next summer. You know. For sure, this is not a one-off.
Yeah, one-off.
Yeah, English.
Hey, your English is better than my German, so I'm not about to complain.
Maybe. But sometimes I'm getting tired of it. You know, always thinking in German and translating at the same time into English version. That's a tough one. Anyway. It won't take that long. It took me 10 years because Jotti, the older singer, he got really problems with his voice, and he is not allowed to sing anymore because he blew his voice totally. He was he was a guy, he was from 0 to 100 in 1 second. So he blew up his voice. And I was looking for a singer, as I said, for 10 years, and now I do have a band. I would call it a band right now. These guys are just became friends, and it's so fresh, and everybody's excited. So
Yeah, and
maybe take another year.
It definitely comes across in what you guys created on this record. The record sounds so fresh, so exciting. It's so much fun. I think the best thing I can say about it is fun to listen to it.
I mean, maybe now it's the time to be ready and willing, you know, and everybody is.
One last question for you. Considering how many records you've worked on, considering how many things you've done, what keeps you motivated?
Can't tell. Definitely, it's not the money. or these days, it's not the money. I just want to. I guess I lived music for a couple of decades, you know, and I just lived the music. I love to do records, and I got so many. If I start in the morning practicing guitars, mostly a couple of days every week, I come up with so much riffs and so much ideas, and I really can't tell. But maybe I'm just a lucky guy, and the most secret is maybe just to enjoy it and look forward.
Yeah, enjoy the moment.
I really can't tell you what's the reason for it.
We just know it's not money.
No.
Definitely not money.
Actually, I can't wait to record the next album, but the record company says, "Hey, calm down a little bit. Hey, you released already two albums this year. We don't need a third one this year. Maybe next year."
Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much for your time today. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you taking your time, and thanks for your reaction on the video. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. I watched it a couple of times. Hey,
thank you. I really appreciate it. I had so much fun listening to the record, and I just wanted to convey that fun that I had listening to the album to the people that would watch the video, so that they could go and listen to the album as well. I
could see your head banging.
Yeah, it was just so much fun. So much fun. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care. Stay healthy, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.